Welcome back to University Park, Pennsylvania on a cool evening at Rec Hall. Inside, things are heating up. Nebraska and Penn State almost set to get underway as we start the 2012 Big Ten Conference season. We take a look at the starters for the Cornhuskers. We talked about Gina Mancuso. She'll be a star, but Lauren Cook, she leads this offense, a senior setter who is one of the best setters in the nation. Now over to the Nittany Lions. The starting lineups brought to you by Tachi Kara, Ariel Scott, Nia Grant, Micah Hancock, Slay, Megan Courtney, and Deja McClendon. Dominique Gonzalez will be the libero for the Nittany Lions. These two teams have met often in the series, even though this is just the second year in the Big Ten for these two teams. They have met 19 total times, with Nebraska leading the series 12-7. Head coach for the Cornhuskers is John Cook in his 13th season, a two-time champion, as well as a two-time National Coach of the Year. Megan Courtney, the freshman for Penn State, will get things started, and we're underway in the battle of top 5 teams from Rec Hall. And a quick stuff for the Nittany Lions as Deja McClendon gets things started.
That's a great way to start out for Deja. She's been having a great preseason, but that's going to really boost her confidence.
Deja McClendon was key in the matches last year. She had 18 kills on October 29th when these two teams met. Cook will go to Hannah Worth. Block is there again for Penn State. Hancock tries to go on two. Nebraska ready for it, and they've got the point.
Worth was ready for her. She really stepped in on that base blocking position, so she's ready for Micah.
We're going to see Micah do that often throughout tonight's match. She loves to try to go over on two, and she's got a strong swing on that left arm swing.
She does need to establish herself as a hitter right away.
It'll be Cook to serve. Hancock going back row to Scott for the kill.
Right away, like I said earlier, she's going to go to Scott. She's going to find her out of the back row attack.
Talk about the number of times they go to Ariel Scott. She had 85 swings, a career high against Stanford.
Man, my arm just hurts thinking about it.
It'll be Laura Caraway, the freshman, in to serve. She's gotten a couple of chances so far, 6 matches on the season and a couple of service aces. Worth. And Scott mixing it up and getting it to fall.
He sure did. Nebraska got caught on their heels on that time.
Get another look at it here. Just going over the outstretched block of Hannah Worth.
They're ready for Scott to bang that ball, so they've got to be ready for that short tip.
Brooke had to run that one down. Brookheist just sends it over. Get a whistle, double touch on the Nittany Lions, point to the Huskers.
And that's one of the things that they're trying to control this match, so limit the number of errors.
We talked about that before. The errors were a problem for both of these teams. Nebraska losing to Iowa State on Saturday due to their mistakes, and Penn State losing on the road to Oregon State. Both of these teams with one loss so far this season. McClendon, she's off the block, but Dykstra is there in the middle, and the kill for Haley Tramer. And Liz, give us a few keys for the Cornhuskers in this match.
Well, right now, Nebraska needs to put a lot of pressure on Penn State, and that's going to require them to take them out of their offense with this tough serve right here by Hannah.
Hancock in system to Scott, but she puts it into the net. It's actually Nia Grant, and it's an error on the Nittany Lions.
They got to get these errors out of their system right away. It's a lot of jitters going through. It's the first Big Ten match. They're going to take care of these errors and move on.
Tough one sent over by Micah Hancock, but she makes the right decision.
Usually that setter powers over that. If she's got the opportunity to put it away on a second contact, she's going to do it.
And it will be Micah Hancock back to serve for the Nittany Lions. Such a dangerous serve that every coach knows they have to prepare their team for. Mancuso just sending it over. Hancock with a long set across to McClendon for the kill. Liz, give us a few keys for the Nittany Lions in this match.
Well, right now I had down the Slay factor, even though we haven't seen her yet, but she's got so many blocks on the season already, so look for her to be really tough and strong in that middle, but also Micah needs to spread out the offense, so after she serves, look for her to set.
Hook back set to Brookheist, and Nebraska able to get the side out.
That was nice. She was able to find the seam right there.
John Cook talked to us about how this Nebraska team needs to side out when Micah Hancock is serving. Hancock had 6 service aces the last time these two teams met in Happy Valley.
Well, it's going to be a different story right now. I think their passers have been preparing.
Hancock with a tough pass in the middle to Scott.
That was a nice quick attempt right there. See how she was up nice, fast, and early. Created a seam in the block. Boom, down.
3 early kills for Ariel Scott. One of 3 All-Americans for the Nittany Lions a year ago. Back set goes to Brookheist. Gonzalez just able to control it as Penn State's sending over a free ball. Cook to Mancuso. McClendon out of the back row. And unable to corral it was Lauren Cook. Point to the Nittany Lions.
That was a nice off-speed shot by Deja right there. She went in strong, took a little bit off of it. Unfortunately, Nebraska wasn't able to capitalize.
7-5 lead in set number 1 for the Nittany Lions. 3rd ranked and 4th ranked teams in the nation. The top 4 teams all in action playing each other tonight. It'll be a set from Gonzalez. Courtney just pushes it over. And Cuso down the line gets the kill.
Both teams are being a little scrappy right now. They're going to start cleaning it up in a little bit. It was a good effort by Cook. All of a sudden, yeah, the block is inside, so it's a nice, easy shot down the line from Mancuso.
Well, as we know, it's the Big Ten season, but it's still relatively early. There's been 4 weekends, but both teams still trying to work some things out. At what point does maybe the coaches think about, hey, we need to be hitting our stride in the Big Ten campaign?
Oh, it's going to take a while. Like we said before, the Big Ten season is a long season. It is a grind every night. Your highs can't be too high and your lows can't be too low. So look for them in the second part of the Big Ten season really put their act together.
Russ Rose mentioned he didn't want his team to get too emotional as Haggerty gets her first chance, but it's going to be a net violation and a point to Nebraska.
Cook does such a nice job going against the grain. She went up forward for the pass and then sent that ball all the way back to that pin.
Courtney, the freshman, with a big kill.
That was a big bang.
Megan Courtney has been impressive in her first few matches as a Nittany Lion.
You know, after talking to Russ about her, she's got one of the highest volleyball IQs on the team so far, and I think that's from all her experience with high performance camps and her club experience. She really brings a lot to this team, even as a freshman.
She was the Gatorade Player of the Year in Ohio a season ago for high school as Lacey Fuller checks in and out of system for the Huskers. Worth will just send it over. Chance for Slay. Worth, big swing and off the block.
Well, she took advantage of Micah right there. And the swing blocking, they had to wait, really hesitate to get up and over the net. So the outside hitters, they can really hesitate, drop their elbow, and have an off shot and tool the block.
Trouble into serve for the Cornhuskers. At the net, a joust comes down on the Penn State side, but still alive. Down by Lauren Cook as she goes over on 2.
She is just so dynamic. She can go up there and swing. Here, come watch this pass right here. She goes up like she's going to set, and at the last second, she drops that elbow and puts that ball down.
Back to Courtney, into the tape. Tramer able to put it away.
That's what I call fast points at the net. You got to be ready. You got to be big at the net.
Haley Tramer missed all of the 2010 season with right shoulder surgery. She was second on the team in blocks last year and led the team in blocks per set. Courtney again, block is there for the Huskers. A pancake from Courtney, still in play. Worth off the block. Penn State can't get to it. And the Huskers take an 11-9 lead in set one. Good string of serving here from Paige Hubbard.
It is. Penn State's got to work hard to get out of this rotation.
Katie Slay looking at her first kill. She gets it.
Katie did a nice job of keeping the ball in front of her that time. If you can watch her, she split the block right there, went right in the seam.
I know that Russ Rose has talked about communication with the middle. Still needs to get a little bit better from Micah Hancock and a service there on the Nittany Lions. What do they need to do? What does Micah Hancock need to do to get on the same page with her middles?
Well, first of all, she needs a three-point pass. So that first ball side-out opportunity is what we're all looking for as coaches, players, analysts, even. So right now they need a three-point pass in order for Micah to run the middle.
And when you talk about the three-point pass, you talk about three options, you mean, for the setter?
Three options, somewhere in that area, that sweet spot where the passers like to go for the setter. The setter has more options that way.
12-11 lead in set number one. Nebraska took that 2-0 lead in Lincoln on September 21st, 2011 to win their first match in the Big Ten Conference. And the Nittany Lions, they did come back, but they had 7 errors in that final set and another service error as those continue to build for Penn State. You and I were both there for that match in Chicago against Oregon State as Penn State really struggled with the attack errors. They had 26 attack errors and 13 service errors. Anytime you're giving away that many points, you're going to have a tough time winning.
Definitely. You couldn't get any momentum going.
It's McClendon. Dykstra can't get the dig and a point for Penn State.
Deja did a great job coming off on a hard angle. You can really see her thumb start up and then angle down in order to get that sharp cross-court shot.
Off the tape. Cook in the middle of the Tramer. It'll be Scott stuffed. And that hit the line, so the point to Nebraska.
There was a lot of time to set up for Nebraska on that block. They did a nice job of angling their left hand into the court.
Laura Dykstra back to serve, the sophomore for the Huskers. Middle to Scott this time. Worth. Cuso with a big swing, Gonzalez with a dig. Now Scott ends it. Long rally is ended by Ariel Scott, and it's back to a 1-point set.
It is so nice when you can execute, and that's what she did right there in that long rally.
4 kills on 6 swings for Ariel Scott so far. Brooke Heiss has to tap it over, and Gonzalez couldn't get a hand under it, so it works out for the Huskers. 15-13 lead in set number one as Nebraska out in front early in Rec Hall.
A lot of tips in there, which is unusual for both of these teams because they are so physical. So I think it has a lot to do with the beginning of this first set, like I said before. Just getting the jitters out, getting used to each other's defenses, the court, everything, you name it. So tips are a lot getting going on right now.
Penn State out of system. Courtney spread it over. Now it's Mancuso over the block for the kill.
That was a nice, fast pin set. And Mancuso did a great job coming in fast, so the dynamic block had a hard time getting over there in time.
Second kill for Gina Mancuso of the match. We mentioned that she had 22 kills in that meeting on September 21st last year. She had 13 kills in the first 2 sets alone, which helped Nebraska get out to that lead. Maddie Martin now in. Haggerty gets her first kill of the match, and the star freshman for the Husker on the board.
Oh, she's a lot of fun to watch. She's going to throw it in there in front. She's going to go behind. It's a nice attack, nice and high. Your elbow's nice and high. It's really hard to read those balls.
A 17-13 lead for the Huskers, and a timeout for Russ Rose. Wants to talk things over a little bit. As set one, there's a margin that's opened up. And we look back at Nebraska facing UCLA, then the #1 team in the country. It was the Bruins in sets 3 and 4 who took momentum after Nebraska get out to a 2-0 lead. But then in set number 5, the Huskers came back, and it was a memorable finish as they beat the #1 team in the country and celebrated at the Coliseum. The 3-2 win, that put Nebraska atop the standings. They were the #1 overall team in the AVCA Top 25 poll after that weekend. Then, following the loss to Iowa State this past Saturday, they now are at the 3rd-ranked spot as they lost their first match of the year. And Coach Cook said that not a player really played well in that match against Iowa State. Iowa State, a team that knew Nebraska well, had played them often in their time in the Big 12, so they were not intimidated by this Nebraska team, and he didn't call it an upset because Iowa State's a good team.
Iowa State's a fantastic team, well coached by Christy Johnson, a former setter, national championship member of Nebraska. She knows that team well, and I'm sure it was very exciting for her to win that match. But like Cook said, it was a great match. On Iowa State's side, Nebraska wasn't happy with their play.
The current AVCA coaches poll, and you saw atop the standings, those two teams, they are playing tonight as well. So one of these 4 teams could be #1 by next week, depending on these matchups, how they play out. Hancock goes to Scott. 3 ball sent over. What can Penn State do with it? Scott with the kick.
They're saying, finally, out of this rotation. Get me out of this rotation. And they do it with Scott, bread and butter.
Notice Ariel Scott with 5 kills. We've seen her set a few times in the middle as well on the right side. What do you think Russ Rose is trying to do there?
Well, I think they're trying to establish some sort of middle attack early on. Actually, both teams. Whether it works or not, it doesn't really matter. It gets the other side middles thinking about it.
Scott with a big swing and another kill. Out of a timeout, Penn State keeps looking for Ariel Scott.
They do it. If it works, you're going to go to her.
Gonzalez with the short serve. Nebraska able to get to it, and Haggerty with the kill. We saw that UCLA match. Megan Haggerty made a statement. 17 kills for her on 25 swings with just 2 errors against the Bruins. That was the most kills by a Husker middle since it was done by Tracy Stalls a few years back.
It is impressive as a freshman. She's very physical. She hammers through that block.
And there on the Huskers will send Ariel Scott back to serve, an 18-16 lead. John Cook said he loved her performance in the Sports Performance Club in Illinois, and that's why he wanted to bring her to Nebraska. She's really the only new player in the lineup this year as she gets another chance off the block. Penn State able to keep it alive. Now swing from Addie Martin. At the net, it's won by Lauren Cook. Katie Slay couldn't even get her hands on it.
Well, they got a little messed up there. As you can see, Micah was stuck on the left side. After she set the ball, she couldn't get over. Slay was discombobulated. When you get messed up out of system like that, it's easy to score.
Penn State struggling with the service of the Huskers. And Cook will go for Tramer off the block.
Well, Nebraska's doing a great job putting that pressure on Penn State, like we mentioned before, as part of the key to the game. They need to keep that pressure on at the serving line, and that's what they're doing.
Haley Tramer with 3 quick kills in this match. As once again, Russ Rose wanted to talk a few things out with his team. Communication is something he said needed to be better, but Penn State back against Stanford on August 31st. A 5-set match where the Nittany Lions beat the Cardinal. Another matchup of top 10 teams. They won, being able to hold off that Cardinal team in the 5th set. And really one of the better weekends for Penn State so far this season. Russ Rose said 2 good weekends for this team and then 2 bad weekends is what he's seen so far. He wants more consistency from his group.
I think Russ is all about less errors, and I think what you saw that weekend at Penn State against those top programs was less errors. They were in system more, they felt confident, comfortable, and they are able to show their physical side at the net. And I think that's what he's happy about right now. Right now he's discussing with his team, hey, how do we get out of these rotations? What's happening? Why are we so messed up in the front row right now? Let's get to our positions, let's settle down, and start playing some Penn State volleyball.
Nittany Lions not only beat the Cardinal, they also beat the Texas Longhorns the next day in a sweep, which was a very impressive win. Texas has struggled, though, losing to the Golden Gophers, another member of the Big Ten, and the Fighting Illini. So Penn State, as Russ Rose said, he said there was a little bit of the glamour taken away from that victory over Texas when some other teams had beaten the Longhorns. However, still some impressive wins for the Nittany Lions early, and they want to get back to that style of play they had at the start of the season.
Well, it's important for those women to remain confident against those teams. They had a lot of big wins, and they're going to carry that over into this Big Ten season.
Cornhuskers are hitting .500 in set number 1. 15 kills on 28 attacks and just 1 error. Paige Hubble, the senior captain, has done a nice job serving. Hubble is a former walk-on who earned a scholarship this past January. For her efforts with this team, John Cook decided to reward her with a scholarship in her final year. And an ace for Paige Hubble.
Well, right after a timeout, that's tough. They need to get their act together in Penn State, maybe take a step up for Maddie Martin. Oh, she's going out right now, so.
We've seen Maddie Martin and Megan Courtney split some time in that L2 position. Courtney has seen a little bit more, but as Russ Rose has said, freshmen need to adjust to the speed of the game, so we will see Maddie Martin as well. Hancock to Slay for the big kill.
And that's what I'm talking about with the three-point pass. The middle is able to get up there nice and fast. The blockers aren't able to adjust fast enough, and there goes the kill for Katie Slay.
And you see Katie Slay trying to cheer on her teammates, saying, let's go. They're down in set number 1 at home. Slay's coming off a weekend where she hit .683 in 3 matches and had 29 kills and 10 blocks in the Penn State Classic. Kramer off the block, and that has been effective so far in set 1.
Well, if you notice, Micah's on the left side of the court blocking right there, so that's a little different strategy, although it didn't work for him at that point.
Micah Hancock only at 5'11", but she can elevate. Both of these setters have shown that they're good at the net. However, you don't want them blocking too often when you have some of the attackers that you can see for both of these teams. Middle again to Slay, and she gets another one.
It looks very easy, doesn't it, when you get a three-point pass. Three-point pass, Micah gets in there, the blocker's moving. Easy kill for Katie Slay.
22-18, and Caraway serving again for the Nittany Lions. Kramer, and a net violation on Penn State. That's their second of set number 1.
Now that is just not what you want to see as a pure error. They're just going to have to clean that up soon.
So Nebraska 2 points away from taking a first set win in Rec Hall. This is the only 3rd time that these 2 teams have met at Rec Hall. Second time was last season. Hancock on 2 for the kill. And now Penn State has her back serving, and the Nittany Lions know that she can go on a run. Both of these teams have seen her do just that.
She looks very determined right now.
Cuso is stuck.
That was a great hesitation by Deja as well. If you watch her, she really watched the set go in and reach in. She was patient, and that's what you need.
Solo stuff for Deja McClendon, and now John Cook wants to talk things over a little bit. A 23-20 lead for the Huskers. Talk with his team and his daughter Lauren Cook, the setter. look at a comparison between these two teams. Look at the numbers in the Big Ten. Now, obviously, both of these teams have played some good competition, some weak competition in the non-conference season. But in terms of their rankings in the Big Ten, out of 4 weeks of play, they're both similar and atop. You see them both leading the Big Ten in blocks per set, and Penn State doing a great job at opponent hitting percentage. But that number really gets helped out when you play teams like they did this past weekend that can't quite compete with the Penn States of the world.
You do, but you also have to remember that no matter what team is playing Penn State or Nebraska, they have the big targets on their back. So any team is going to play out of their mind to try to beat them. Iowa State, Oregon State, they did. I'm sure they played out of their mind to beat them, and it worked for them. So I think it's hard to compare.
Well, this week on BTN.com, don't miss any exciting action. Go to video.btn.com this week and check out our upcoming volleyball schedule. You see a lot of good matches in there in this first weekend of Big Ten Conference play. The Huskers on Saturday will head to Ohio State. This is a very long week for the Nebraska Cornhuskers. When we talked to John Cook, he said they were going to try something different. They're going to stay out east after the match tonight. They will head to Columbus tomorrow night and then stay for the next few days. So a different strategy in trying to work things out and figure out what's best for his team as John Cook travels in the Big Ten Conference. Nebraska doing a good job with the service of Hancock, but a free ball now, and that will go for the point. They had been until then, and a point for the Nittany Lions.
I think Micah's very determined right now, just from her attack at the net, going back, hustling back to that serving line and staying on that serving line.
Dykstra able to receive it. Now it's Brookheist. The block is there for Penn State, and it's a 1-point first set. Another timeout by John Cook. It's a 23-22 lead for the Huskers. We'll be back for the conclusion of the first set in a moment. One of the many great venues in the Big Ten, Rec Hall on the campus of Penn State University, enjoying this first set, seeing Penn State come back as Nebraska's 2 points away from taking the first set. But right now, momentum is on the side of the Nittany Lions.
It is. Micah's prepared. She's determined at that serving line to go after it. John Cook and Nebraska have been preparing for Micah at that serving line all week.
Brookheist off the Penn State block. Courtney able to save it. Another look for Brookheist, and it's will catch the line, so the point for the Huskers. Set point number 1 for Nebraska. Hancock has to try to run this down. Middle to Haggerty. And a whistle, the double contact, and the point to Penn State when they desperately needed it.
They're battling back there. Nebraska's defense, Worth, was really hustling for that ball. She is determined as well. Look at that look on her face. She's saying, serve me the ball.
This isn't any surprise. A tightly contested first set. This match has the makings of something that could go the distance.
This is exciting volleyball.
Kristen Carpenter, the former setter, now into serve. Mancuso to end the first set. Middle to Haggerty, and the Cornhuskers jump out early with the 1-0 lead. A 25-23 lead in set number 1 as they look to their freshmen. We'll come back to Rec Hall for the second set and see if Penn State has an answer. He had a 2-time Coach of the Year nationally. He also spent time at Wisconsin, so he knew the Big Ten well before he came and joined last year. Russ Rhodes, the accolades are too many to list. as this is just a snippet of what Russ Rose has done in his career. He's the all-time leader in active coaches in terms of winning percentage, 5 national championships for him, a 4-time National Coach of the Year, and the list goes on and on. But he has that Nebraska connection. He received his master's in 1978 from Nebraska, where he also coached the defensive team for 2 years.
It's a small world out there, Mike.
They know each other well, and they've spent plenty of time meeting. We say in this series that it's young in the Big Ten, but you think back to 2008 in the national semifinals. They have met and had some memorable matches throughout the years, and it's going to be very exciting to watch as this builds over the next few seasons in the Big Ten.
Oh, it's definitely going to build up. Right here is your first glimpse of it.
We had a perfect glimpse of it last year, too, in Lincoln, Nebraska at the Coliseum, as that was certainly a sight to behold. And at Rec Hall, another phenomenal crowd on hand to witness this rivalry. Penn State had won 8 consecutive Big Ten titles before Nebraska joined the league, and then the Cornhuskers won last year. That was their 32nd conference title as a program, split up over their time in the Big 12, one in the Big 10, and also in the Big 8. So Nebraska wins no matter what conference they're in.
They know how to win, and they recruit players that know how to win.
State not able to get a good pass off the serve from Lauren Cook. It'll be Worth. Back row to Mancuso. Scott can't control it. Point to Nebraska.
Mancuso did a great job of waiting for that set, seeing where her defense was, and really gave that nice, sharp angle to score for her team.
4 kills now for Mancuso to McClendon, who had been quiet, but that will get the crowd into the match.
That will. She put a lot of her energy into that.
It's Hancock once more. Haven't seen an ace from her yet. Middle to Worth. Triple block was there. And Mancuso puts it in the tape, and a point for Penn State.
You'll notice Worth and most L2s, they'll be a little bit more tricky than the L1s, which is L1 is outside hitter, their number 1 outside hitter on their team. Worth is their second outside hitter, and she's going to be more tricky out there with that high 2 ball.
Brookheist too strong, and it will be the point for the Nittany Lions. So Micah Hancock is putting pressure on Nebraska, but we've seen them be able to handle that first pass so far, Liz.
Yes, both teams, they need to just keep working on that first ball side out.
Into the tape and a service error on Micah Hancock. A point to the Huskers.
That seems to be the MO right now. Penn State gets a little bit going, and then boom, all of a sudden maybe a missed serve, a misconnection, miscommunication.
And a service error on the other side, so both teams struggling with their services. And both coaches had seen that before already in this season. They knew coming in that their teams had not been serving as well as they're capable of.
And they work on it every day of practice.
Cook with a bump set to Mancuso. Penn State with a stuff. Nia Grant and Megan Courtney.
It's a nice job by Penn State getting them out of system. So the only opportunity is for Cook to pass that ball up to Mancuso. The block is already set. All they have to do is wait.
Kramer. Nia Grant. Great dig by Dykstra. Mancuso. Another chance, and you see Micah Hancock was not ready for that one.
Well, I think she got a little antsy. Sometimes setters are back there waiting. They want to be able to release up to the net. She really wanted that dig, but obviously it didn't work out for her. Mancuso, on the other hand, did such a great job getting off the net. Big transition, big footwork off the net.
Middle to Grant, who converts. Mia Grant's a player that Russ Rose has said at times can look like an All-American, but at other times she disappears, and that goes back to the consistency that we talked about at the beginning of the match.
Well, she's hitting .336 right now for the season, which is pretty good for an M2.
Cook just dumps it over for the point.
Cook does a nice job. She is a tricky center. She's very dynamic in the Big Ten. They cannot ignore that play by Cook.
Lauren Cook is senior setter for the Huskers. Talked about goals that she had as a freshman that she hasn't achieved. That includes a national title. That's what they want to go after this year. Gonzalez will set to Scott. Big swing off the block. Back set. Goes to Haggerty. Now Courtney with a swing. And Cuso is stuffed. Katie Slay at 6'6". It's tough to get it over her.
Katie Slay did a good job of being patient, but if you back it up and look at Micah really hustle for that ball, she does a great job. Before Slay blocked, Micah really got to that ball and was able to make a play for her team. I'm really impressed with Micah right now. She's really stepping up her game.
Micah was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last season, setting all but one match for the Nittany Lions. She goes to Megan Courtney and a huge block by the Huskers. John Cook said this match would be a great test of the blocking ability of Megan Haggerty, and she steps up with one there.
Well, right now, Courtney does fast twitch muscle. She's got a fast arm swing, but Haggerty does a nice job of getting her hands over that net for a stuff block.
7-5 lead in set number one for the Nittany Lions. Nebraska took set two, a 7-5 lead, and a set number one win for Nebraska, 25-23.
I really think Cook is forcing Micah to be more of a dynamic setter tonight. I really do. Cook likes to force her middles off the net. You just saw Micah come off the net and force a backslide to Katie Slay.
Jousted the net, won by Katie Slay. Anytime it's 6'6" against 5'8", Katie Slay's gonna win.
I think you're right.
A 9-5 lead for the Nittany Lions in set number two as they try to match the Huskers and even up at one set apiece. Set number two between the Nittany Lions and the Huskers. The Huskers third in the nation, Penn State fourth. As Penn State leads at 9-5 after losing set number one, 25-23. And Liz, we've seen some impressive play from the middle so far. Megan Haggerty with 4 kills, hitting .444, and Katie Slay with 6, hitting .857.
It's tough to defend in the middle right now.
McClendon off the touch of Cook, but a great job with the up Sheridan Zarda. Hancock with a swing and kill.
Anytime you get that pass right up to Micah, she's able to do so much with that. And Katie Slay was right there in case she decided to set her quick in the middle.
Third kill of the match for Micah Hancock. Russ Rose said that she's more of a hitter who's playing setter. And you can see that when she has those type of attacks. Cook just puts it over. Back set to Scott for the kill. And Penn State controlling set two.
Volleyball's such a game of momentum. Before you were able to see Nebraska be in control, now Penn State's in control. Worth was a little off on her block right there. Those things happen in volleyball. It just swings back and forth, back and forth.
It's Haggerty off the block for another kill, and she continues her high percentage play.
She is not playing like a freshman, Mike. Not at all. She is not rattled. She keeps that ball in front of her and just powers through that block.
Well, when you and I talked to John Cook, he had said that she was the most polished freshman middle to come into Nebraska in the history of the program. And she's showing that tonight, and she did already earlier in the season, being named the Freshman of the Week twice already in the Big Ten.
Oh, she's solid.
Middle to Slay, she's stuffed. Haley Tramer with a big block.
There's that M2 factor by Tramer. She's holding her ground. She's not jumping with Micah. She's waiting for Slay. She did exactly what she needed to do as a middle.
McClendon finds space in the black row for a kill. 12-7 now for Penn State.
I think that's where Deja really can expose a weaker block. When she's in system, takes a really nice big approach. She's hitting over and above those blockers sometimes.
Courtney sends over a free ball. Good opportunity for the Huskers. Worth, powerful swing and kill. She puts so much behind the ball.
Oh, she's just so much fun to watch. She's so dynamic. For all you young volleyball players out there, I think Hannah Worth is definitely a great role model for you to capture. She gets off the net, big back swing. She's just a lot of fun to watch.
Her goggles have become iconic in Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's what I've heard.
Back row for Ariel Scott has the answer. Coming up after this second set, stay tuned for some highlights and stats from the first two sets at Rec Hall. Plus, we're going to break down the Big Ten Conference volleyball season. That's after the second set, as Hancock will serve for Penn State. Joust in the middle, Tramer wins it. Nia Grant wasn't ready for the timing on that jump.
She wasn't. She kind of had to spin around and find the ball, and sometimes your eyes get captured in the lights above. It's kind of an awkward position to be in, so Tramer capitalized on that moment. Another fast point for Nebraska.
13-9 in the second set in favor of Penn State. Hancock goes to Scott. As Ariel Scott, 11 kills now with just one air, hitting over 500.
That's a fun kill right there. She's coming off 1 foot in front of the setter.
Kristen Carpenter will come back in. Carpenter, we mentioned, not seeing as much playing time last year and this year, but she's still a captain for this team. And still a player that her teammates look to. A service error as Carpenter comes in. Liz, how difficult can it be for players when they're sitting on the bench, not into the flow of the match, and then they have to come in and be a serving specialist?
It's hard. It's a lot of pressure on them, but Carpenter's been in this situation, I mean, her whole career at Penn State. And look at her. She'll fight back. She'll get another opportunity, and that's what she's telling herself right now. These ladies, they're competitors, and they want to get back into the game to prove themselves.
Courtney with an air as Penn State was out of system. The bump set from Gonzalez, not what Courtney could do anything with. And the point to Nebraska. And Cuso is stuffed.
I think Ariel's smiling because she went in for that quick attack, tipped it right to a defender, went back, and boom, stuff block. I think she knows she probably made a wrong decision on that tip right to the defender, but she made up for it.
Very interesting to watch Ariel Scott. She's played some in the middle. We've seen her be set in the middle. She came into Penn State listed as a middle, but has seen more time opposite. And then Cuso with a kill for the Huskers gets their 12th point of set two.
Oh, that's a hard angle. Very rarely you'll see Mancuso make 2 airs in a row. So if you notice on the first one, she got stuff blocked, came back, got a kill.
Courtney into the block, and again, the block by the Huskers, as both teams have shown talent at the net so far.
I think this is a tough matchup for Courtney with Haggerty right in front of her. I think she really needs to angle her hit over Cook or towards Cook. And that all relies on the set.
But Cook did get her hands on that for the block. They go back to Slay, and she continues her strong play, a 16-13 lead in the second set. In blocks so far, 16 blocks for the Nittany Lions, 5 team blocks for the Huskers. So, again, trading. We talked about the similarities coming into this match. They are showing it throughout this evening.
They're playing very similar right now.
Now 5 service errors on the Nittany Lions. Hancock can't get to it, and a poor pass by Penn State gives Nebraska a 1-point deficit.
They're really serving after Deja right now. You can tell they're putting some pressure on her.
We'll see if Mancuso goes after her again. Hancock on 2. There's a touch on the Huskers, so the point to Penn State.
Looks like Worth is arguing this call.
High floater from Courtney, just over the net. Cook will go to Hannah Worth. It's always a good dig. Now it's McClendon down the line, point to Nebraska.
It was a nice stroke by Deja, but she just missed the line outside of Cook's hand. You can tell she's trying to go for Cook's right outside hand, and sometimes you just miss.
Slay off the back set. Now Cook to Tramer, back row long. Again, the Huskers trying to argue the call that there was a touch. They won't get it. And Penn State is 7 points away from taking the second set.
Cook did a nice job going against the grain in that court, no block. It was wide open to have.
Tramer again. That goes off the antenna, so the point to Penn State. Twice in a row they look to Haley Tramer, and it's been an error.
And I'm sure Cook is frustrated right now because she knows that's the area on the court that she wants to go to and attack.
Lacey Fuller in, serving for the Nittany Lions. Mancuso out of the back row with a big kill.
That's money right now for Mancuso. Also for Scotta, that back row attack. I'm surprised both teams don't use it more.
It's an 8-4 run for the Cornhuskers as they're within 2 here in the second set. Cook will serve. High float. Goes middle to Nia Grant, and Nia Grant continues to be strong in the middle. Inside a rec call on the campus of Penn State University. It's number 3 versus number 4 as the Cornhuskers meet the Nittany Lions. Mike Wolf alongside former Wisconsin Badger Liz Tortorello Nelson as Micah Hancock looks for her first ace. She won't get it, and Hannah Worth with the side out.
Oh, Cook did a nice job really reaching high up on that side. That was a tough pass. If you notice, this pass went super tight. She really had to reach up. Hard angle. Worth came around for a high 2 ball. Kill for Nebraska.
Hancock goes to Scott in the middle. They continue to look there with Ariel Scott, and she has 12 kills.
Well, I think if you set high enough for Scott, she's going to put the ball away. Before, when she was tipping, I think that's when Michael was setting her too low and her feet weren't to the ball. So she's going to tip. But Scott, just give her the ball. Throw it up there. She's going to put it down.
Ariel Scott had 23 kills in the first meeting last year. The Big Ten Conference opener for both of these teams. She's already got 12. It's Mancuso, and Sheena Mancuso has another big kill for the Huskers.
If you notice, Nia kind of switched back to traditional blocking there. She didn't finish up with her swing blocking, so it was really difficult to close it.
Playing a close latter portion of the second set as it's remained about a 2-point margin for the Nittany Lions. Courtney finds the line.
Micah did a nice job of opening up the door for Courtney on that one. If you notice, Micah set all the way pin to pin. So it takes a long time for that middle on the other side to get to that pin and block the ball. So Courtney had that seam to work with.
Penn State 3 points from a second set victory as Gonzalez will serve. Back set to Brookheist, who's blocked. The block ends up out of bounds, so it will be a point to the Huskers.
Well, Courtney's smiling. She knows if she had another chance, she'd turn that hand in and get it right back.
Brookheist to serve. Slay. Mancuso able to put another one down, and it's a 1-point set.
We're not able to stop Mancuso right now in that sharp angle. I'm surprised they haven't adjusted so much by this time, because right now she's scoring a lot of balls on that sharp angle.
And timeout by Russ Rose. You're saying, Liz?
I'm sure they're going to fix it. And Russ right now is talking to his setter about what's happening, but I think in the huddle, Kalina and the other assistant, Steve, they're probably talking about how are we going to stop Mancuso, how are we going to stop Haggerty? Well, it's getting your feet to the ball.
It's really been in the middle portion of this second set that Gina Mancuso has come alive because she had been a little bit too high air in the first set and a half. She now has 9 kills, hitting 190.
Well, I think she's found an option right here, and why not keep hitting cross court because they're not stopping her. She's a great pass and swing hitter, and like Cook said, in order for their team to find success tonight, Mancuso needs to pass.
Well, the Huskers trying to come back in this second set, and the Huskers, they're number 3 in the country, but there are 7 Big Ten teams in the top 25. That's the way the year started. Michigan State is undefeated at the moment. Ohio State in front of them. Then the Illini, Boilermakers, the Gophers, Nittany Lions, and the Huskers in the top 10. We talk about parity in collegiate volleyball. You see it in the Big Ten, even though teams you don't see in that list, Michigan and Northwestern, they're receiving votes. Top to bottom, any single team in the conference can win on a given night.
It's going to be a battle every night for the Big Ten. It is one of the toughest conferences, if not the toughest conference right now in the country. So anytime you step out onto the court against another Big Ten team, you don't know what to expect, starting with tonight.
Comparisons always come between the Big Ten and the Pac-12. The Pac-12 has more teams in the top 10, but the Big Ten has more teams overall in the top 25. Last year, it was a Pac-12 team that won the national championship in UCLA. Nebraska already beat them this season. Hancock with the back set to Scott. Great job by Brookheist. Another chance for Scott. Haggerty down the line, and the kill ties it at 22.
She found that line all right. Again, here's Cook going against the grain. As soon as she throws her head back, you know she's setting back. The middles just didn't get there in time, and she found the line.
At one point, it was a 6-point lead for the Nittany Lions. Overpass, and Haggerty takes advantage.
She is on fire right now.
23-22, and now the Huskers are 2 points from taking the second set and a 2-0 lead. Another timeout for Russ Rose. We'll see how it plays out. Can the Huskers go up 2-0 when we come back to Rec Hall? Nebraska on a 5-0 run to take the lead in the second set. And Brookheist still serving for the Huskers. And a service there gives the point to Penn State, and we're tied again.
Well, they call that a nice timeout for Russ Rose and Penn State. It's good timing. They have a hard time in that rotation. They really do. I think a lot of it has to do with Haggerty in the front row.
Haggerty with 7 kills on 12 attacks and no errors, hitting .583. Overpass, Penn State can't get anything on it, so the Huskers with a chance with Haggerty off the block, and it's set point for Nebraska.
I'm sure that's very frustrating for Penn State right now. Just another fast point opportunity. Sometimes if you're not really paying attention on that first ball and that first overpass, it's not going to happen. And there you go, you saw a tool off the block.
And Cuso trying to end the second set. Hancock to Scott. Zardo with a good up. It'll be Worth. Gonzalez able to get it up. And now Courtney down the line for the kill. We'll go to extra points in the second set.
That's a great thing about a freshman. Sometimes right before that, she got the tool off the block. And here you go. She came in strong, really had that hard angle, thumb up and down, hitting that line shot.
Now she'll float over the serve. It's Worth off the block, and she slams the floor.
She is just so much fun to watch. She's really getting her teammates fired up for this set point.
Second set point for the Huskers. It'll be Paige Hubble to serve. Nebraska has had success with her back there at the service line. McClendon with a big swing. Cook goes to Worth again, blocked by the Nittany Lions.
Well, if you notice, Worth had an inside set right there, and against Slay, who's 6'6", who knows how to drop her hands. That's a tough shot for Worth to try to get anything off of that. But Slay held her ground, got her hands over the net, and was just patient.
Lacey Fuller, the defensive specialist, in to serve for Penn State. Huskers look again to Worth. Courtney is there in the back row. Now it's Ariel Scott long. No, they'll call the touch, and the point to Penn State.
Wow.
John Cook can't believe it.
Well, let's see it again here. It looked like it hit her pinky up there. And you know what? Those line judges are right there. They're able to see it, feel it, hear it. He's going to argue his point, though. John's going to argue his point.
He's going to argue his point, and he knows that that could be the difference in the match overall. You go up 2-0, and it's very difficult for any team to win 3 consecutive sets against the caliber of opponent like the Huskers. So he's going to argue that point because he knows it could be the difference in the match.
He is, but just like any veteran coach, they're going to move on. Right now, he's focusing how to get his team to side out and get back on track against Penn State. Penn State's doing the same thing. They're moving on after this play.
BTN goes where you want, when you want it with BTN to Go, presented by Auto Owners Insurance. Watch live volleyball and BTN original programming on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. BTN to Go is available at no extra charge to subscribers who receive BTN through their cable, satellite, or participating video providers. To learn more, visit BTN to Go or look for it in iTunes in the App Store. So Penn State with a set point coming out of this timeout. What do both coaches say here, Liz? It's 1 point. That could decide the set, and you have a timeout here to talk about what you want your team to do.
Well, right now they're looking at matchups and who's been hot for Nebraska, who's been hot for Penn State. They're focused on getting this 3-point pass, really holding that middle so the setter can get the hitters one-on-one. There's a lot that goes into this play. Right now, the women on the bench are probably hearing one thing from their coach's mouth before they head out there. They just want to get back to it and win.
Well, it wouldn't be surprising to see either one of these coaches have their setters go to the middle, with Megan Haggerty having 8 kills in the first 2 sets and Katie Slay with 7 for the Nittany Lions. Fuller still serving. Cook will go to Worth, and another kill for Hannah Worth.
You know what? I would go to Worth.
They've already looked to her 19 times in the first 2 sets. She's got 6 kills. Scott finds the back line.
out of that back row. You watch her really take off. Watch her foot right here by that 10-foot line. She turns it in, and she's able to find that back line. But she does such a nice job getting really tight to that 10-foot line.
Kill number 14 for Ariel Scott, and now Penn State tries to have Micah Hancock close it with an ace. Nebraska has done a great job, though, receiving the Hancock serve. The back set goes to Brookice, and the block for the Nittany Lions. The Zay takes set 2.
That was a perfect way to end set 2 for Micah. Lots of confidence for her right now going into the third set after this break.
Back and forth we go. Nebraska takes set 1. Penn State takes set 2. Coming up after this commercial break, we'll look ahead to another exciting volleyball season in the Big Ten Conference. At intermission, it's tied at 1 set apiece. Back in Happy Valley, Pennsylvania, where it's a 25-23 win for the Huskers in set 1, a 28-26 win for the Nittany Lions in set number 2. Beginning the third set, and we go to Twitter for a question, Liz. Blues Deluxe 94 asks, what's it going to take for Nebraska to win its second Big Ten title?
Well, I would say Nebraska needs to go the distance. We talked about it being a long Big Ten season. I think Nebraska needs to work on not getting too high off of big wins and too low off of losses. They need to keep being patient, going through the whole season, and getting better every night. I know that's what Coach Cook would want them to do. And then in the end, you know, it's definitely going to come down to, I think, Nebraska, Penn State, Purdue, all those teams that we talked about. It's going to be a battle, but Nebraska needs to definitely go the distance.
We talked earlier about unfinished business being the mantra of the Huskers. They mean that not only wanting to do more in the Big Ten, they won the title, but they want to win a national title as they lost to Kansas State on their home floor in the second round of the NCAA tournament. Hancock will serve to start set 3, and it's a service error, the 6th service error of the match for the Nittany Lions. Micah Hancock without an ace so far, and in 7 of the last 9 matches, she's had more service errors than service aces. So she's been struggling, even though she's one of the best in the country. She's been struggling from that back line. McClendon with the first kill for Penn State on the third set.
She's just insistent right there. Big, strong approach, big backswing. Really watch her take off. She saw that seam. Tramer didn't get over there to close, so it's an easy kill for Deja.
Brookice. That one looked like it touched the floor. They will whistle it down, and the point to Nebraska.
It is awkward for Brookice. She is a lefty, hitting in that first rotation on the left front. So it's really difficult for a lefty to hit on the left side of the court. She did a nice job keeping the ball in front of her.
Middle to Nia Grant for the connection.
There's Nia Grant. We haven't seen her in a while.
The second kill of the match for Nia Grant.
It is like a long one. She moves away from the setter, so Trainer really needed to push over to the right side to block her.
It'll be Mancuso who terminates. Double figures now for Gina Mancuso. She had a season-high 18 kills against Iowa State on Saturday. The Huskers did fall to the Cyclones. Mancuso again. Hancock, back row to McClendon, and it's down.
Wow. I don't know if you saw that out there, but what I saw is that she really stretched in front of that 10-foot line, and she made it legal. She didn't touch that line at all.
Tough serve from Ariel Scott, and she gets the ace. Not the player you would expect to have a service ace, but Ariel Scott steps up.
Yeah, I think anything can happen with that Ariel Scott, that number 1.
Counting for another point. 14 kills in the first 2 sets. A couple of blocks thrown in there as well, and now a service ace. Mancuso with another big swing and point.
still to that left side of the court. She's still hitting cross court. Kind of over Micah Hancock as well. She's finding that seam, but Micah really needs to step it in.
Courtney, the freshman, gets the touch.
We really started this third set out with a bang. There's a lot of kills going on right now.
5-4 lead for Penn State. Teams trading points in the early going.
This is side-out volleyball.
Megan Courtney, a 6'2 freshman out of Dayton, Ohio. A lot of high praise for her from her head coach. Miscommunication by the Huskers. And you know John Cook is not happy with that.
No, it's just, Cook is just going to keep going against the grain, and I think he expects a little bit more out of Haggerty right now, or somebody to follow that ball.
Met at the net, Lauren Cook able to send it back on the joust. Now it's Hancock who puts a big swing and another kill. Her 5th of the match.
Micah was a setter hitter in high school, so that is, an easier play for her to attack because she had so much experience as a hitter before she came to Penn State.
Russ said she's just not quite tall enough to be a hitter for the Nittany Lions, so they like to have her as that setter role, but she will attack from time to time. That's Mancuso mixing up the swing. Haggerty taps it over. Back set to Scott. Block able to get a touch on it for the Huskers, and they get the point.
That was a nice save by Haggerty right there. If not, that ball was going down. She really reached high. She used those long fingernails to reach up, hang up there, be patient, and come back down. She did a good job on that.
We talk about Megan Haggerty. There could be a Haggerty in this Nebraska lineup for the foreseeable future. Both of her younger sisters are considering coming to Nebraska, so it could be a long time that Nebraska has a Haggerty in their lineup, and another block for Nebraska.
Yeah, it's just fun saying her last name.
Megan Haggerty and her younger sister, Maddie Haggerty, led Bennett Academy to a state championship in Illinois last year. Haggerty was planning to go to Wisconsin, but changed her mind and decided to come and join the Huskers. And it's Scott for her 15th kill.
What I've noticed from Scott is she does a really nice job when that set is off the net. So that back row attack, we like to call it the BIC. It's a fast back row attack. She's able to get her arm swing up as the ball is being released from the set.
Brendan trying to find some space. Good job on Mancuso, and again it's Micah Hancock.
That was really smart by Micah. I think she noticed that Mancuso, she was scrambling for that ball. If you watch her, she got a great defensive move. She was able to swing.
Timeout by the Huskers, a 9-6 lead in set 3 for the Nittany Lions. We said earlier in the broadcast, you can see a new number 1 team by next week, and it could be any of the 4 playing tonight.
It could. There's a lot of people voting for that top 25, and a lot of work goes into it. I happen to know one of my friends is on that poll, and there is a lot of work that goes into determining this poll.
3 Big Ten teams were ranked number 1 last season so far. The Huskers have taken the top spot earlier this year. They're trying to get back there. The bump set from Dykstra to Worth, and it's low.
Worth is really trying for those open shots. She just missed it by an inch right there, but she really sees the court so well.
Haggerty. McClendon with a big swing and kill.
Now, if you notice, Haggerty went over for the slide. She went over to the pin, but if you watch her again, it's really hard for her to get back to the other side of the pin to block Deja. So that's a great move on the setter's part.
11-6 lead in set number 3. It's Mancuso out of the back row, but the point goes to Penn State on the air.
Momentum is just shifting again.
Penn State had a 6-point lead in the second set. Nebraska then came back It's currently a 6-0 run for the Nittany Lions as Haggerty sends it wide, and the errors that we talked about at the beginning of this match are coming back to affect the Huskers.
Definitely, and I think this is where the home court advantage comes in. Nebraska needs to call a timeout right now. They need to settle down. That's what he's saying. Russ is saying, hey, we're doing all the things right. Steve, the assistant coach, is really in some of the middle blockers' ears. And these are the type of things that you're seeing right now.
Coming up next, it's Big Ten football and beyond as the guys in the studio preview the games that matter most and around the Big Ten and the country. Coverage starts right after volleyball. You talked about the assistant coaches, Liz, and both of these teams have young assistant coaches. Kalina Davidson, formerly Kalina Walters, who was a Nittany Lion. Steve Aird is in his first year with Penn State. And then for the Huskers, Danny Busboom-Kelly, she's back with the team. And then Dan Meske, who played at Ohio State. A graduate in 2007, played with Pete Hansen on the men's side. All young assistants working with legendary and iconic coaches. What do you think they get out of this experience, and what do they offer these teams?
Well, I'm glad you asked me this, Mike, because I just talked to Danny on the phone the other night, and she was saying what an honor it is of hers to be back at Nebraska, learning from such a great veteran coach as Cook. Her coach, her former coach, she's just thrilled to be learning and getting the education she needs in order to improve herself as a coach. So she's super excited, and Kalina, same thing. She was a great libero for Russ back in the day, and she adds a lot to this team right now. And actually, both of them are liberos, so they do work with the passers.
Danny Busboom moved to libero in 2006 to help the Huskers win that national title. She's the first ever former player for John Cook to be on the coaching staff. Fuller looks to extend the run for the Nittany Lions. As at the net, Lauren Cook ends it.
It's a veteran play, just taking care of the ball from Lauren Cook.
Lauren Cook, one of 3 captains for this Nebraska team. Her father, John Cook, said that the rest of the team considers her to be the rock in terms of the leadership.
Oh, I can see it.
It'll be Hubble to serve. Back row to Scott, and she gets another kill.
Again, she really went for that ball. I don't think she liked the height of that ball too much, but she didn't slow down. I'm glad her arms sped up at the end.
I have to be very impressed with the number of kills and the lack of errors by Ariel Scott. In that Oregon State match, another serve by Hancock, and she gets her ace.
It really pumps up the fans right now. They are really into this match when she serves well. And you can notice the crowd when they say boom. That's when she's hitting it.
She finally got a service ace. She had been struggling. We'll see if she can go for another. It's an overpass, and Mia Grant can't get it down. So the point and a mistake by the Nittany Lions. Point goes to the Huskers.
Just another fast point opportunity missed. It's happened on both sides of the net.
So it happened though a couple of times to Nia Grant in this match. So now Lauren Cook, she'll try to do some damage from the service line for Nebraska. McClendon. Worth off the block and the point to the Huskers.
Again, Worth dropping her elbow, not really showing the defense on the other side and getting a nice tool off the block.
Middle to Scott. Free ball chance. It's McClendon off the block.
See ya.
If you get Deja McClendon and Ariel Scott both firing on all cylinders, most teams in the country are not going to be able to stop this Penn State squad.
No, it's really tough, and that's what Coach Cook talked about, how them being so physical at the net. And you're right, you don't want them, if they're opponents of yours, you do not want them on.
25 combined kills for McClendon and Scott. Deja McClendon is 1 kill away from another double-double. Overpass, let's see if Penn State gets one more. Scott sends it long.
I think we we spoke too soon on Ariel Scott.
Well, as we said before, though, getting back to what we were just talking about a moment ago, Ariel Scott and McClendon both had 7 errors in the match against Oregon State. They were high air. Now they also had a lot of attempts, but they had not hit for the high percentage they typically do in that loss to the Beavers. And Scott able to put it in play, just barely. Mancuso down the line, and Penn State gets the point. They can't help but appreciate the play of Ariel Scott in this 17-10 lead in the third set.
That was scrappy play by Ariel. You don't often see that big body getting down and scrapping that ball up. Unfortunately for Nebraska, Mancuso was trying to hit her outside arm, and it just didn't happen for her.
Just able to get a punch to get that over. As Mancuso will check out. 17-10 lead for the Nittany Lions as they try to go up 2-1. But with a tough pass, but Tramer still able to terminate.
They got to get her more involved in order to score some points for Nebraska like she did in that first set.
7 kills now for Haley Tramer, hitting .308. Laura Dykstra to serve. It's Scott once more. Cook tries to run it down. She can't. And another kill for Scott.
I think they're trying what they can right now, Nebraska, just trying to mix it up. They had a sub in there. Kelsey came in, number 14 for Mancuso. So let's see what happens right now.
Scott had an ace the last time she was back there, but that's a service error and the point to the Huskers. Penn State had a 6-point lead in the second set, but Nebraska put together a run to tie that one up, even have a set point in the second set. They still fell in extra points, and here we are in the third, waiting to see if Nebraska has another run in them. It's to Katie Slay for a kill.
There's that first ball.
It'll be Megan Courtney back to serve. Cook sends it behind her. Great decision by Lauren Cook on a tough play to get the point.
Again, another signature move by Cook. Even though her head is fully tilted back, she didn't know what was going on, and the left back of Penn State wasn't able to get there.
Service error on the Huskers puts Penn State 5 points from taking the third set. Kelsey Fiend, the freshman out of California, into the match for Nebraska. This is her third match of the year. As John Cook using just about every player on that bench in this match. Haggerty off the block. And a player that was so effective in set 2. We've not said her name very often here in the third set.
We haven't. I think I think Penn State did a nice job of shutting her down earlier on, and she got a little quiet. So, but the whole Nebraska team right now is a little off. I think they're just trying to work on some plays right now to get them back into the groove.
Tramer just tips it over. Hancock back to McClendon, and cross court, it's down.
Oh, there was a lot of fun. Deja just did a 2-step back, really big backswing, up and swing. If you notice, she's more in the 32 position, which is in the inside. All she did was take a 2-step, get up, really pull her body up. That is athleticism right there, Mike.
Service error on Hancock. Now I'll ask you, Liz, we talk about the errors that Micah Hancock has been dealing with. She's got such an impressive swing on that serve. Any chance that maybe she takes a little bit off that? Is that a decision she should make, or should she always go all out every time?
I think Russ would like to see her go all out. I mean, that's part of the reason why she's on the squad at Penn State, is that she knows how to score points from the service line. They expect it.
Great save by Paige Hubble, but Penn State with a free ball. It's Scott. Worth off the block. Courtney able to save it. Good rally going here. Middle of the block for Penn State. Still alive. Hancock goes to McClendon. And Paige Hubble again, the overpass. McClendon with the finish.
That was a great long rally by Penn State. Oh, Courtney, way to go, Courtney. She really got that ball up.
Look at the move by Deja McClendon.
She was on fire that whole rally. Those long rallies are key to win right now. Nebraska was digging as well. I mean, Paige Hubble is back there trying to keep that ball in play.
11 kills now for McClendon. Marika Rossi-Varskis into the match for the Nittany Lions. Alexa Strange in for Nebraska. And it's off the block point to the Huskers. Alexa Strange for Nebraska, another freshman out of California, into the lineup. 22-16 lead in the third set. And Alicia Ostrander, a redshirt freshman, will check in out of Gordon, Nebraska. Only played in 5 sets this year, but she'll serve now for the Huskers.
And we got some new bodies for Nebraska right now.
Caught to Scott. No pancake there. Point to the Nittany Lions. Hubble did all she could.
She did, and I think she even thought herself maybe she got that one up. She's such a great defender. I think she's just frustrated right now.
Penn State 2 points away from taking the third set. Another sub coming in. It'll be Allison McNeil.
And I think this is where these substitutions come into play that we talked to Coach Cook about, maybe slowing down the pace of the game instead of a timeout.
It is a new rule this year, 15 substitutions versus 12. John Cook was one who was not in favor of that rule, but he will use his subs. As on the near side, it's Kelsey Fien with the kill. That's just her 5th kill of the season. Subbing out almost everyone. For John Cook, he's not happy with the play of his upperclassmen and his stars, so he's making changes.
Well, you have to make changes.
It's Slay, and Penn State has set point in the third set.
Slay does a nice job of keeping the ball in front of her. Nice space open. She's got a huge court to hit into, especially when there's no 2 blockers in front of her.
Cook puts one hand on it, and it's long. Penn State goes up 2-1. 25-17 win in the third set for the Nittany Lions. They are going to try to close it out, but the Huskers want to force a 5th set. We'll see what happens when we come back to Rec Hall. 25-17. The big reason why they did win the third set, the play of Deja McClendon. She's got her 5th double-double of the season, and she was all over the floor for Penn State.
Well, this is why she's such a big deal on this Penn State team. She's the one in all the big plays, and you know what? She's finishing, and that's what a coach wants to see. You execute and then finish the play.
11 kills on 24 swings with just 2 errors. She's hitting .375. She also has the 12 digs and 4 blocks. Combine that with 18 kills from Ariel Scott, and of course Katie Slay playing well. Penn State, through 3 sets, is hitting .376 as a team.
They're running on all cylinders right now, which is why they won that last set. And Nebraska just needs to come back and find a way to slow them down and really get back to their Nebraska volleyball game. But Penn State right now, it's hard to stop them. They're on their home court too, and I think that's another reason the fans are involved.
Well, anytime that you talk about home court in the Big Ten, that's usually good for about 5 points for any team that's at home. The other team that's going to be the Big Ten champion at the end of the year is going to be the one that's the best on the road in the conference. It's always tough to get wins on the road, so each team that does come out and get a win, you know that they're going to be in the driver's seat for the Big Ten Conference crown. The other thing is that Russ Rose had said that the team that is good on the road in the Big Ten and wins a lot is usually the team that is rare and can win a national championship.
That's true, and defense matters for this, definitely. Defense wins championships, but right now, Deja is an offensive threat right now.
This is the Penn State team that the fans here in Happy Valley think of is when Deja McClendon is hitting on all cylinders. You have Ariel Scott hitting for a high number, and then the third option in the middle with Katie Slay. They have lacked the middle option several times last year and in the early part of this season, and that's why they struggled at times. It'll be Hancock trying to win the joust, but she can't over Tramer. Good start for the Huskers in set 4.
It is. I mean, Cook got in there. She's going to fire up her team, and Tramer's going to find that middle attack.
Nebraska hitting .259 as a team coming into this fourth set. Hancock again to McClendon. Great decision by Brookhuis to just send it over. Penn State can't get to it, and another point for the Huskers.
Yeah, they're not ready for Brookhuis to add that second attack option right there. You can tell they were a little confused on that play.
So you think a bit of a wake-up call for the starters for the Huskers when they were all pulled towards the end of the third
for sure.
set?
They do not want to be off that court.
Middle to Tramer, and actually a lift ball on the Huskers. So the point for Penn State.
Yeah, I think she knows.
Always deadly Micah Hancock back to serve. And Cuso with a side out for Nebraska. Micah Hancock was dangerously close to having a football on her service.
She was. I know. In the last couple sets, she's had a couple service errors.
Clendon can't get to that one, so it's just over now. Worth. Gonzalez with a great save. Tramer just able to get a hand on it. Lauren Cook diving, giving up her body for that last play. Gonzalez will set it to Scott. Good up by Mancuso in the back row. Worth looking for the back corner. Courtney is there. Long rally continues. Block tries to end it. They can't. Met at the net on the joust, and it's up by Brookhuis. Worth into the block, and the Huskers end the rally with a point.
Wow, that was a nice scrappy rally right there, and a good way to end it for Worth.
Now the momentum Nebraska can take from winning that long rally in the rest of this fourth set.
Yeah, Penn State can't take a breath right now. Nebraska is going to fight back. They are not quitters right now. They're going to fight to the end.
These two teams went 5 sets in the first meeting last year in Lincoln. Are we destined for another 5-set affair tonight? Service ace for the Huskers.
Well, they're putting the pressure on right now, especially with Courtney in the back row.
McClendon down the line. It's long. Point to Nebraska. So a 6-1 lead in the fourth set now for the Cornhuskers. And timeout for Russ Rose. That's not a surprise with his team struggling to start the fourth set. Nebraska trying to tie up the match at 2 sets apiece when we come back to Rec Hall. The banners in the rafters for the Nittany Lions, they date back a long ways. 14 Big Ten championships for Penn State. They had won 8 in a row until Nebraska took it away from them last year. And now Penn State is struggling here to start the fourth set as Nebraska doing things well with Gina Mancuso serving. Hancock in the middle to Scott. Too many touches and the point to Nebraska.
That was a low set to Scott right there, and she went for it, which I'm surprised. She usually tries to tip those. But rotation 1 is a tough rotation with that setter coming out of that right side. She's got her hitter stacked over on the left. This is a tough rotation for setters.
This time it's Nia Grant who's stuffed by the Huskers.
Brookhuis did a really nice job of coming in. She's really inside right here. Even though she didn't touch the ball, Tramer's all over it.
That is the 6th block of the match for Haley Tramer. Back set goes to McClendon, and another stuff by Nebraska.
They're owning Penn State right now at the net. Tramer's all over that.
11th team block of the match for the Huskers to just 8 for the Nittany Lions, 7 for Haley Tramer. Mancuso still serving with a 9-1 lead in the fourth. McClendon finally ends the run of the Huskers.
You got to stop the bleeding sometime. Deja really did it that time. She was a nice off-speed shot and let it roll down the Nebraska blockers.
It's Worth. Back to Scott, who terminates.
They need to keep building momentum back here on this serving line, especially with Cook in the back row.
Lauren Cook to Tramer. Good up by Micah Hancock. Bump set goes to Scott, and the block goes out of play. Point to Penn State.
If you notice, the libero is really doing a nice job of taking that second contact. The setter will dig the ball, and the libero will come up and throw that ball nice and high for her pin hitters.
12 digs on the match for Dominique Gonzalez, the libero for the Nittany Lions. Cook over to Worth. The block was there for Penn State. That's 4 touches on Nebraska, so here come the Nittany Lions.
Worth hit that ball pretty hard. You heard that tape yourself, and it was pretty hard hit. I think she's just going for hands right now.
She may hit the ball harder than anyone in the entire country. And an ace for the Nittany Lions and Deja McClendon. And now it's a timeout for John Cook. His team jumped out to a 9-1 lead. Now it's 9-6 in the fourth set. More from Happy Valley when we return. We'll find out how the Nittany Lions and the Huskers respond. Nebraska trails in the match, but the blocks have been getting the Huskers going in set number 4 as they lead overall in team blocks. Haley Tramer, a big part of the reason why.
Oh, she's just doing a great job being very patient. She's reading Micah very well. She doesn't have to move that much. Actually, Micah's sitting right on top. So Tramer's putting her hands over and she's good to go.
Nebraska outblocked Penn State last year in that meeting in Lincoln on their way to a 5-set win. Gonzalez setting to Scott with the tip over. Dykstra with a pancake. Free ball for the Nittany Lions. It goes to Maddie Martin, and the block out of play. Point to Penn State.
That was a solid rally by Penn State right now. And again, Dominique does a nice job of setting up those hitters.
Cook to Brookhouse. Gonzalez with the up. Clendon out of the back row. Scott again, continuing the run. It's a 7-0 run for the Nittany Lions.
And Dominique is doing a nice job of controlling that whole back court. She's kind of the unsung hero as a libero right now, but she's really standing out on that Penn State side.
The most reliable passer for the Nittany Lions. It was a run for the Huskers to get out early in this set, 9-1. Now a 7-0 run for the Nittany Lions. Another bump. Brookhouse. It's Maddie Martin, and Martin gets the touch call. Point to Penn State.
It's a nice long rally to win, and good for Maddie Martin to come in there, sub right off the bench, and have a strong kill hitting the line.
A look of exasperation on John Cook's face as his team was up 9-1. The 8-0 run for Penn State, but an error ends the run.
And here we go again.
Nebraska controlled the start of the set, and it was Penn State. Let's see what the Huskers can do with Dykstra serving. row to McClendon. Cook got a hand on it, but it wasn't enough. Point to Penn State.
Look at Micah really finding Deja. She takes off. That's that Bic we were talking about. It's really come from the men's side of the program of volleyball, where it's a nice, fast, low set to the back row.
A great dig by Dominique Gonzalez off the swing from Worth, and Martin puts it away. Penn State has had different players stepping up throughout the match.
Oh, she really stepped up that time against a big block, and Brookhuis just went up real skinny with her arms, so Maddie was able to find it really low and hit the line right in front of Cook.
Another service error. If this one were to go to 5 sets, you know that Russ Rose is going to talk to the team again about service errors.
Well, that's always the case. I think still, I mean, after 4 weeks of preseason, going into the first round of conference play for all these teams in the country, people are talking about service errors.
You see the number there, 11 service errors for the Nittany Lions, just 5 for the Huskers. Hancock to Slay, the one-handed pass.
That was pure athleticism by Micah right there in order to reach up. Same as Cook. They do such a nice job, those setters. Of course, I'm biased, but setters are very athletic right now in the Big Ten. They're able to do that and really open up the door for their middle attackers.
Liz Tortorello Nelson, a former setter from the University of Wisconsin. Quick to Haggerty. Haggerty too strong.
So smart, but she's swinging for hands right there. She's trying to find some hands to tool off of. That was a strategic play by her, and she went for it.
Ward off the block. Now middle to Slay. Cook to Haggerty. Gonzalez was ready for it. Gonzalez with the back set to Martin, has to run it down. Cook goes to Worth. The block is there for Penn State.
Again, another long rally. That was great teamwork by Micah and Slay right there. If you notice, Slay went up. She tried to block Cook and then came back down and blocked the outside hitter.
13-2 run for Penn State in this 4th set.
Wow. I know Nebraska's not going to be happy about that, but they're definitely a team that can fight back.
Nebraska took set number 1, 25-23. Penn State took set 2 in extra points, 28-26. And Penn State took the 3rd set, 25-17, and lead it in the 4th, trying to win the first match of the Big Ten Conference season between the number 3 team in the country and the number 4 team.
The band is really getting into it now. And I know the temperature of the gym is not 100 degrees like it was a couple weeks ago. So I think that's not a factor here for those two teams.
In the 50s outside in University Park tonight. Coming up next, it's Big Ten football and beyond as the guys in the studios preview the games that matter most in and around the Big Ten. Coverage starts right after our volleyball match. You see Kristen Carpenter in the middle of the huddle. She's not been playing much, but she still is a vocal leader.
She is. All the teammates said that she is such the captain, such a leader. She is what embodies a Nittany Lion.
Well, she does whatever this team asks her to do. She was the setter on the 2010 National Championship team. She then moved into a DS role last season after Micah Hancock emerged. And now she plays this role as a captain who gets some chances in the match, but she is willing to do whatever her team needs.
She's a great teammate, and I think they all appreciate her.
Haggerty. Now back row to McClendon, and Haggerty with the block.
That was a nice job by Haggerty, just being patient at the net, just waiting. She was the only one up there.
It's Martin Martin who tools the block.
Real smart play by Maddie Martin going after Cook right now and that right outside hand. I think that's what they wanted to do earlier on. They just couldn't do it.
Martin will now serve. 4 kills on 7 attacks from Maddie Martin. And a tough serve from Martin, but Cook able to get to it and keeps it alive at least, but it's a free ball chance. It's McClendon. Block was there for the Huskers. And now a great opportunity for Nebraska. It's Haggerty. Blocked down by McClendon.
Again, with Lauren Cook going against the grain, Deja was there, but I don't even think it cleared the net.
No, it hit the tape, so not a block and just an error on the Huskers. 16-12 lead in set number 4. It's Haggerty. Now it's McClendon. Great job by Worth in the back row. She does that so well. And a stuff block for Penn State.
Slay again on the block. If you notice, to get to that point, though, Worth, I have to say, Worth does such a good job in the back row. She plays her defense so far up in the middle of the court, I think because she wants to be involved so much.
Can't help but mention it, the 16-3 run for Penn State. They were down 9-1 in the 4th set. Martin still serving. Cook will go to Mancuso. And now it's Cook with a dump over. Penn State did all they could, but the Huskers with a much-needed point.
And Dominique was right there. I think she read it, but Cook is just so sneaky. She'll get up there. After this kill, they'll give her this pass. She'll get up there. Right at the last second, she turns. Now, Deja didn't get in front of her like she's supposed to, I think, or Katie Slay, but Dominique was right there, just couldn't do it.
And Tramer with the tip and the point for Nebraska. Three-point advantage for Penn State in set 4. They lead the match 2-1. It'll be Hubble to serve. She served a run earlier in the match for Nebraska. It's Hancock with the swing. McClendon able to save it. Now free ball. Back set goes to Tramer. McClendon cross court and it's down.
There's a lot of talk going on out there, Mike. I think even more so now. They're getting louder. They're getting more demanding. Both sides. You can tell it's really picked up this play late in the 4th set. Both teams have picked up their play right now.
Nebraska had great communication last year on their way to a Big Ten title. Penn State did not. As a service error on the Huskers. Excuse me, the ace for the Nittany Lions. Lacey Fuller with an ace. Martin in the back row, the overpass. And Cuso, the block was there, but Brookheist able to save it. Fuller, miscommunication by the Nittany Lions. She just bumps it over, and Fuller with another great up. Tramer off balance. Another good rally going. Both teams just trying to keep the ball alive. Tramer tips it over. It's off the touch of Penn State. Point to Nebraska.
I think if you notice that whole time, Micah again is over on the left side of the court. I think that's where the miscommunication is. On a long rally, that's really hard for a setter to stay on the left side of the court.
State can't control it. The point to Nebraska, so back to a 3.4 set.
I think this is where their youth really shows on Penn State, where they'll get kind of disorganized and they're not able to get back on track right away.
11 of 17 players for the Nittany Lions underclassmen. Back row to Scott, and a huge stuff for Nebraska.
Huge stuff by Tramer. Here she is again, what brought their team up. Now they'll show it again. again, she just follows it so well. Very patient blocker.
8 blocks for Haley Tramer. McClendon. Lauren Cook saves it and keeps it alive and sends over the free ball. McClendon again across court.
Wow. That was a great rally by both teams. Cook kept it in play. Very dynamic, very athletic plays by both sides of the court.
Would you expect anything less from these two teams?
No, I wouldn't. That's why this is great volleyball. And Deja, the wrist away shot to finish the play.
Kill number 15 from McClendon. Overpass and another kill.
Fast point opportunity. That's what Micah can do back there. And like you said, on the service line, she is not going to slow down. She's going to keep going after it. So it creates opportunities like that for Deja.
That one too strong, but they'll take it. The aggressive serve can create those points, as you said. Other times it will be an error, but Penn State knows how strong she can be from the service line.
It's such a mental game back there for those serve receivers as well. They see Micah back there and they get rattled.
21-18. And the swing is long, but a touch call on the Huskers. Point to Ariel Scott.
Any chance that you get as those tall blockers go up there, sometimes that ball will just scrape their fingertips and go out of bounds. That's why you really have to focus on maybe blocking low at some certain points. It's hard for them to do to block low when they're so big.
Coming up after us, it's Big Ten football and beyond, covering the conference and what else matters around the country. Marika Rasibarskis with a service error. She checks in and immediately has an error. She'll come back out.
Opportunities to use their bench players more. She'll get another chance later on.
Penn State 3 points away from taking the match. As Dykstra. And Cock runs it down. It's Scott. Roll shot over. Brookheist down the line for the kill.
That's nice solid shot by Brookheist. If you look at her emotion, she's very steady, very calm. Nebraska's very calm out there.
And Scott is calm off the block for the kill for Penn State.
Scott is not very calm. She'll go after that ball every time.
Kills for Ariel Scott. That matches what she did when these two teams met in Lincoln last year. Middle to Haggerty, and she connects.
She will. She'll find a way against a double block. That's how strong she is.
Haggerty with 10 kills on 24 attacks and 4 errors. Martin with a big swing. Match point for Penn State.
Fans are on their feet right now.
Penn State trying to open up the Big Ten season with a statement. And Haggerty keeps the Huskers alive.
I can't say enough about her. I'm really impressed. I am from Illinois, so I'm a little biased.
Haggerty played high school and club volleyball in Illinois. Huskers want to get it back to her. Hancock trying to end it to Maddie Martin. The stuff blocked by Lauren Cook.
Wow. Do not close the book on this match yet.
And a timeout. Russ Rose wants to talk it over. His team 1 point away from taking the match, but Nebraska is not going away.
No, they're not. They're going to fight.
Liz, in this moment, you know that Penn State doesn't want to go 5. Nebraska trying to force it. What is each coach talking about in this huddle?
Well, Russ right now is saying we need to execute. We need to get this first ball side out. We need to execute and get out of here before we let Nebraska hang on any longer. And that's what he's saying right now. Nebraska's trying to find out, what is Russ going to do right now? Who is he going to set? How should we line up our blockers? How should we play this next point?
Right after our match concludes, it'll be Big Ten football and beyond. As the guys back in the studio will talk to everything about going on in Big Ten football and the rest of the nation, what matters to Big Ten football fans. Fans in Rec Hall tonight, about 3,400 on hand for this match. Not quite the scene that we saw in Lincoln, Nebraska last year, but a midweight matchup between two of the elite programs in women's volleyball. Penn State trying to get this win. If they were to win this match here on this next point, they'd be in a great position to possibly go after a #1 spot. In the moment, USC and UCLA, they're playing as well. Nebraska wants to force set 5 and make their claim for getting #1 again.
They do. Let's see what happens in this next play. I know Lauren Cook looks very determined right now after that solo block.
Lauren Cook, 44 assists, 4 blocks, and 10 digs for her, throwing 5 kills as well. Third match point for Penn State. It's Martin.
Oh!
No one gets to it, and we're tied.
Well, that's what's going to happen. Great play by Nebraska right here. They're just being solid.
Set 2 went to extra points, so will set 4. And a service error by Hannah Worth, and again, it's match point for Penn State.
She's such a fierce competitor. I know she's over this play yesterday. She's moving on. She wants to get a 3-point pass right now.
Maddie Martin to serve. Nice! Penn State knocks off Nebraska.
Wow, that really said a lot about Maddie Martin right there. She came in off the bench, did a great job as the L2.
Let's take a look at tonight's. As Penn State actually, they win this match. They've won 3 of the last 4 matches against Nebraska. They won in 4 sets in October last year in this building, and now again they win in 4 sets. Let's take a look at tonight's performance of the match, brought to you by Pure Silk. It's Ariel Scott, 23 kills. Last year in the opener, another 23 tonight.
I think that, Micah really likes to find her. We talked about this in the very beginning, kind of going into this. She will find where she is on the court, but besides that, Ariel did a really nice job tonight. Low airs, high hitting percentage, back row, front row. We even saw her being scrappy defense.
Penn State wins the Big Ten opener and looks to go after another Big Ten title. The Huskers will try to rebound against Ohio State.